Best thing you can do. Best thing you can do. Not ours. Hope it's not something on the other side.
He does, you don't have a little Band-Aid.
Yeah. I would take our quarterback at our high school before we do it.
I'd like to call the meeting of the Springfield Local Board of Education for Tuesday, October 17th, 2023 to order. This time, Mr. Adams, would you do roll call?
Ms. Terry?
Here.
Mr. Hofer?
Here?
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Mrs. Frola?
Here.
Mr. Petrie?
Here.
Okay, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. At this time, we have a presentation via Zoom. Mr. Hofer, would you like to introduce it?
When we were at the fall conference. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Steve Dyer.
before you begin,
Can you hear me? Dennis Willard, and first of all, I want to thank you for giving us a few minutes to talk with you about the Bankers for Ohio initiative. First of all, I want to give you some structural kind of things. The coalition for equity adequacy of school funding has been in existence for 34 years. There are some districts in Ohio that are, in fact, about 100 districts in Ohio that have been members of the coalition for over 30 years each. About 3 years ago, we joined this Voucher for Ohio effort. We've been working with that particular effort. This was started by school board members, and specifically by my initial contact was with Eric Resnick and Kansas City Board. He was going to join us tonight, but he got into some other things, and he called and said he couldn't join us. But I want to give you a little structure of this. We have really an all-star steering committee, 26 members. They're made up of, steering committee is made up of board members, treasurers, superintendents, and other people that are steeped in education policy and education matters. We have on our attorney, we have on our board 4 attorneys that help us navigate with the employed attorneys. A former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. We have an OSU law professor, and Steve Dyer is an attorney who is an ex-legislator, and we have another attorney that works with the state of Ohio. So we've got the right steering committee, we've got the right claims, and Dennis is going to talk about the claims, the counts here in just a minute. We have the right cause, we have the right public relations firm working with us, and this is the right time. By right time, we have a universal voucher program now, but the voucher advocates aren't quitting. They're now wanting to talk about getting capital money for areas where they don't have private schools, so that they can start private schools. They are pushing this idea that take the savings accounts and tuition tax credits, take the savings accounts would affect homeschoolers. Now, you probably know in House Bill 33, the homeschooling community was able to get a policy that really eliminates all the rules for homeschooling. Back when I was an assistant superintendent of public instruction back in the 80s, worked with the State Department, working with the legislature, we helped develop the rules for homeschooling. But now, under House Bill 33, there are no rules. And we think that eventually the homeschooling community will be eligible for a full voucher. Now, we have about 250 districts involved in our effort thus far. The state is pulling out all the stops, and the state has a lot of money, of course, but they're pulling out all the stops to try to knock our suit out of the court. But we've been very successful so far. We filed January 4, 2022, and the state come in immediately asking for the court to dismiss our case. Not only did the court allow our case to go forward, but the court allowed us to go forward on all 5 claims which we put forward. And we haven't had, so far, we haven't had an adverse decision from the court. And I want Dennis Willard, our PR person, to talk about the claims. We have 5 of them, and he can briefly talk about those in just a couple minutes. So, Dennis, if you would go forth.
Sure. And thank you for this opportunity, and we're glad to answer questions. Very quickly, we do have 5 claims. The court has accepted all 5 of them as merited so that we can move forward and argue them when this case goes to trial. The first claim is that the Constitution is very clear. It says the legislature and governor shall create a single system of common schools. We maintain that the private school voucher program is creating a separate and unequal system of schools that you'll see in our third claim discriminate based on a number of factors. But this is a second system. It's the second claim is that our school funding system is unconstitutional because it's underfunded, and it's underfunded at levels that the governor and the legislature have established themselves as saying this amount of money would be constitutional. They've underfunded that. They admit it. The line item that pays for public schools like yours also contains the money that goes to private school vouchers. It's all the same pot. It's a single line item. They don't want to separate the voucher system into a separate line item in the state budget because it would put too much of a spotlight on how much they're increasing money for private school vouchers at a time that they're not funding public schools at an adequate level. So we believe that that's unconstitutional. This is also going to create, and is already creating, tremendous pressure for local school districts to go back to their voters and ask for additional levies to make up the loss of nearly $1 billion that's being siphoned off to private school vouchers under the Universal Voucher Plan. As you know, in the Durant decision, the court ruled 4 times that a system that is over-reliant on local property taxes is unconstitutional because it's unequal. That's count 2. Count 3, as I mentioned, is vouchers. Private school vouchers actually worsen segregation problems in Ohio, and this is actually pretty simple to see. Common schools like yours are open to all students who apply or walk up and enter your doors. The private school voucher operators are the ones who have the real choice in the matter here, not the parents, not the students. They get to admit or refuse admittance to students, and they can base this on a number of criteria: race, religion, financial status of the family. They can have tuition high enough that even with a voucher, the family can't afford to enroll. Disabilities for students, academic achievement, athletic achievement. There's a whole litany of reasons they can say no to a child or a student. You cannot do that. Your doors are open to all students. So we believe that that's discriminatory and unconstitutional. The fourth provision, the fourth claim, is very clear in the Constitution. It says that no taxpayer money shall go to religious schools. We looked at this, and more than 90% of the schools that are taking voucher money right now are religious in nature. Again, we're not anti-private school, we're not anti-faith. What we are is we're against siphoning off precious public funds, tax dollars, to go to private schools. As we have witnessed, the vast majority of parents taking these vouchers already have enrolled their children in private schools. They have no intention of enrolling their children in public schools. So this is becoming a $1 billion refund and rebate program for parents, and it is a boondoggle for private school operators who are going to be raking in millions and millions of dollars from their schools. That's the fourth. The fifth is very simple. The Constitution empowers us to challenge these issues, and that's what we've done. We've asked to go to court, and when we believe the legislature has acted in an unconstitutional manner, we have the right to go to court and challenge them, which we're doing. Now, this is a binary decision. This isn't like school funding in which the court kicked it back to the legislature and said, continue to fix the program. This is a yes or no. Is it constitutional or is it unconstitutional to take public dollars, tax dollars, and give them to private schools, largely religious schools? If the court rules that this is unconstitutional, it doesn't go back to the legislature to tinker with, to address, or fix. It basically cuts the tap off. It says no public dollars shall go to these schools. That's what we're aiming for. We want these dollars to come back to the public school system, the single system of common schools for the common good of everyone. So those are the 5 counts. All 5 have been accepted. We feel very strongly. All we have to do is win on one of those 5 counts to be successful, but we think we have 5 very strong points of unconstitutionality in the private school voucher program.
Those 5 claims that Dennis is talking about, harken back to Article 6, Section 2 of the Constitution, which is very clear. The Constitution is on our side. A literal reading of the Constitution, I guess they call that the originalist theory, would put this case on our side. And I want to remind us all of what the Constitution says in Article 6, Section 2. It says the General Assembly shall make such provisions by taxation or otherwise as will secure a thorough and efficient system of common schools throughout the state. Now, the state has one responsibility, and that's a thorough and efficient system. Not several systems, not a private system, not a charter system, not a voucher system, but one thorough and efficient system of common schools. Unfortunately, the legislature has neglected the idea of thorough and efficient, and instead has dissipated a lot of funds for education into private ventures, as you know. Now, the second part of Article 6, Section 2 is very clear, and Dennis alluded to that in terms of religious schools. It says, no religious or other sect or sex. Now, no religious or other sect or sex. Now, that could be a secular group, could be a religious group, but it says, shall ever have any exclusive right to or control of any part of the school funds of this state. And so our case relies on this constitutional provision very heavily. Not the only provision of the Constitution it relies on, because our Article 1, Section 7 relates to this whole matter of not funding religious education. We have a very strong case. We have a lot of support, but of course we have to win in the court of public opinion. And the way we win in the court of public opinion is to have as many districts as possible involved in this. We're happy that there are 250 districts involved at this point, but we need 600 districts to be involved in this to win in the court of public opinion. We'd be glad to respond to questions. I'd be glad to whatever's on your minds is we will respond to.
Sir, what's your name again, please?
Yes?
Pardon me, I didn't hear.
Your name?
Your name, sir?
Well, my name is William Phillips. I'm the executive director of the Coalition for Entering Adequacy School Funding, and Dennis, his name is Dennis Willard. He's the president of Precision New Media. I've been an Akron Beacon Journal, Columbus Bureau Chief, journalist for how many years, Dennis?
I was a State House reporter for 23 years. The last 15 I was bureau chief for the Akron Beacon Journal. During that time, I worked with a reporter who then became managing editor of the Beacon Journal, Doug Ocklinger, and we really focused on school funding as the Durrell Court case was moving through the Supreme Court and then in the aftermath. We also wrote a lot about charter schools, vouchers, and homeschooling. So this is an issue that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm a big believer in public schools.
One of the reasons I approached Shelley on this is we had an OSBA meeting, fall conference, and I've talked with Eric Resnick over the last 10, 12 years, and I've followed this, your pattern. the state funding for this biennial budget for our school, we only get $3,500. Where all the other schools in Summit County have gotten much, much more. And school funding is, and I have said this in our public school board meeting, it's unfair. And when I saw Eric at the fall conference a week ago on Wednesday, or 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, I mentioned it to him, and I looked over at Shelley and I said, I think we need to investigate this and bring this to the board and to our residents, that we might get involved with this. I can't speak for the board and speak for Shelley, but I think it needs to be a discussion that we have amongst us. I'm at the point now where myself as a board member, I think we're back up against the wall. We see nothing else coming from the state, and I think we need to have that discussion here at Springfield Local Schools.
Well, you're getting $3,500 per pupil on the average, you said, but high school, the state gives the high school, private school kid $8,600.
Well, that's what the correction on that, you'll have to give me the exact figure, but we only got in the new budget $3,500 extra.
33,000 day difference between fiscal 23 and fiscal 24.
33,000.
For our whole district, $35,000 increase.
Well, how much do you get per pupil?
From the state, approximately over $3,000, not much more.
Just over 3,000?
Yes,
But just remember, the high school kid on a voucher gets $8,600 from the state.
right. That takes right off the foundation.
Pardon me?
And that comes right off of our foundation.
That comes right out of the basic aid line item that has traditionally been set aside for public schools since 1935.
Yes.
Yeah, they will not put a separate line item in the budget for vouchers. They merged it with the public school fund, even though it is not public school money. And the reason they do that is they do not want to expose themselves very quickly to show the rapid increase in voucher money. The cutoff for applying for vouchers for this year for students who are already enrolled in public and private schools was this last Friday. 87,000 students have applied for a universal voucher for this school year. That's compared to 24,000 a year ago this time. So that shows you that it's almost tripled in 1 year. And they do not have a cap on enrollment. And we know that the vast majority of these students and families that are applying for these vouchers are already enrolled in private schools. So this is not students moving from Springfield into a private school. These are students in the private school. Their families are getting a refund and a rebate. What the private schools are doing is they're actually raising their tuition so they can capture every possible voucher dollar. They're lowering tuition in some cases for their families, but they're still charging them. And this is really a boondoggle for them because they're going to still get money from the parents. It's not a, enter free program. They're getting a tremendous amount of money per pupil from the state. And this is also, if this is supposedly a way for families to make a choice and enroll their child in private schools, it's not, because most parents cannot afford to pay the additional tuition that these private school operators are charging. So this is just undermining the bedrock of our communities, which are our public schools. I want to just say that, in relation to the amount of money that you're losing to vouchers and that the schools all across the state are losing to vouchers, we're asking school districts to give us $2 per pupil per year for our lawsuit, and the vast majority of that money is going toward paying for our
think that's a good time for us to cut out. We have a board meeting to continue on. You've given us a lot of information to absorb and to discuss. And I want to thank you for your time, for joining us. And I'm sure we will be in touch.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Keep the fight.
So, that was something that we just felt that was important, that the voucher system is something that is, playing hard on us. And the one thing that they did mention also was about the homeschooling. Previously, before this year, when he said House Bill 33, if a family chose to homeschool, there was a criteria that they had to follow to homeschool. And, at least to have like somebody who's at least has a bachelor's degree that can teach the kids at home. And then we would approve it. We'd have to look at their curriculum and what they were doing and I would sign off on it, or I would ask for more information. House Bill 33 now says they don't have to prove anything. All they have to do is just say, we're homeschooling. So we have absolutely no checking of if the kids are learning anything. We have like no, if they're there's nothing. They just took that all away from us and kids are being homeschooled. And then what he did say, which I didn't know, was that they're even looking then for the voucher systems to go for kids who are homeschooled. So this would be a way for a lot of families then to say, oh, this is a way for me to make some money, I'm just gonna keep my kids at home. And it's just detrimental to public education and education in general. So we just thought it was something that was very important to hear and to bring to a front of what's going on. So, thank you. Thank you, Dave, for setting it up and bringing it.
Thank you. The next item for tonight is Springfield High School and Junior High Students of the Month recognition. Mrs. Warner?
Good evening. I am representing our National Honor Society. They started this last year, so this is our second year. We have teachers that nominate students of the month for both junior high and high school. And then the students' names are not shown, and the National Honor Society members look through all those nominations, and then they pick the person that's going to be recognized. So it looks like our junior high student is here. Carter, will you come on up? You stand next to me. I'm going to read some good things about you. So this is going to be displayed in the school building. As you walk into the building, it'll be there at door A. And then next month when we have a new student, this will move down by the community room and it will be displayed for the entire school year. Carter, this is what your teachers had to say about you. I would like to nominate Carter Hahn. He embodies our Spartan standard. He's always responsible, on time, gets to work without being asked, and cleans up beyond what is required. He is always respectful and never oversteps his privileges in my class. He's always kind to me and his classmates. He is always safe. In my class, we use many tools, and he always follows the rules. We learned to make insects out of found objects in class, and he made several at home. I was so impressed. He even taught his grandma how to make them. What a great student. This month, he has been beyond helpful in class. Every day he comes in with the best attitude and ideas for lessons and activities. He brings in materials from his out-of-school acting classes so that I can use them for my lessons. People may not know him from his amazing Gru. That's a Gru costume on Duo Day. He's a very sweet kid and an amazing student. He was nominated by Mrs. Kreitz and Miss Taylor. Our high school student isn't here this evening, but I will read her nomination, and I will make sure that she gets this tomorrow at school. This one is for Jolie Belaney. It says, Jolie is an extremely hard worker. She's always ahead of pace in science class. She works carefully and always has neat, tidy work. You can tell she takes pride in her assignments. Jolie always does what is expected of her in class. She is the perfect example of a responsible Spartan, and her nomination came from Mr. Harton. So congratulations to Jolie Belaney. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, board members informal. My informal is congratulations to both Jolie and Carter. And not only congratulations, but thank you. Thank you both for being who you are. And it is so appreciated. And I know your parents are proud, and rightly so. Mr. Ray?
I want to thank Dave for bringing that presentation to us. I think it enlightened everybody with what we didn't know. Most people don't know. That's all I have.
Mr. Hofer?
Thank you, Cynthia. Just a couple things with what's going on with the biennial budget. 7 members of the State Board of Education filed a lawsuit in Franklin County. There's been a temporary restraining order on the provisions of the Department of Educational Development and Workforce. And the 3 provisions that the plaintiffs are arguing against, it's adding education policy to budget, violated the single subject rule that says laws can't be about more than one topic. The education takeover provisions in House Bill 33 didn't get 3 considerable considerations as required. Ohioans voted to create the State Board of Education in 1953, giving it certain core powers that the legislature can't take away. Governor DeWine's comment, he claims DEW is legally allowed to be established to handle day-to-day statewide business regarding K-12 education. This includes sending checks to Ohio Public Schools and interesting enough, and making determinations on the eligibility for the state's expanding vouchers. Senate Bill 49 has to deal with absenteeism, ironically. They're going to change some things. A substitute version has been submitted. Changes the definition of chronic absenteeism to no longer include excused absences, which I thought that was interesting. Does not count excused absences toward habitual truancy or excessive absenteeism until a student has more than 60 hours of excused absences. Provides a list of what must be considered a legitimate excuse for absences. Updates the state graduation rate formula so schools and districts are not penalized when students on individual educational plans defer education. I know that's a lot of mumbo jumbo to a lot of people, but it does have implications. It would also impact the state report cards, could possibly help us, but with absenteeism, if we've all know, you don't show up to work, you don't get paid. If you don't show up to school, you don't get a good education. Engagement is the key to students' long-term academic success. 2 other things with what's going on in the light fall schedule. House Bill 187 had hearings with Mr. Adams, would be knowledgeable on that. They want to change the 20-mil floor. That's the funding for schools that levies have been on the ballot for years for us. House Bill 263, which has been submitted, which would, if you were 70 and older or $70,000 and less and lived in your house more than 10 years, would freeze property tax on certain occupied homes. And we've not had any movement on those 2 bills. Thank you. Congratulations, young man, on your accomplishment. In a few weeks, I think the next board meeting will be in November. There are many things on the ballot. Many things need to be considered. Choose wisely. Thank you.
Mr. Petrie?
I was involved in the early days with the struggle of whether state funding for public education was constitutional or not, and it was found very early that it was not. But nothing ever happened with those decisions. And I was very interested to hear tonight that if they get even one of their sections of their lawsuit through, that it will stop the funding. And that was really good news, because I've been through this already, and yeah, it's not constitutional, but we don't have a way to fix it, so we're not going to change.
Right.
So, good news.
But it is good news.
So I got to know Carter, 4th grade. We all got sent home for COVID. I don't know if you remember this, Michelle, but we had a weatherman. And Lori's mom would post on Facebook Carter's weather stories every single morning. Because if you went to Young Elementary every single morning, they talked about the weather on the announcements. So he brought some of school home for all of our kids. So that was a big thing. And then if you also don't know Carter, then you probably haven't been to the football games, because he is probably could be fan of the week every week, but he was, as a 7th grader, nominated as fan of the week. So congratulations, Carter. Real quick, every Thursday evening, the football team has team dinner. This is a big thing for multiple people in here have played sports. It's a team bonding time. A lot of that was lost during COVID, through a lot of financial things, and this year we kind of brought it back, and we asked for a lot of help so that parents could kind of have to take the step back of constantly helping. So we had a lot of people step up, and to me that's huge. Michelle has asked me for this list, and I just keep forgetting. But we had Lakemore Methodist, we had Pressler Meats donate 100 hot dogs. The Board of Education and multiple administrators donated money to help feed the team. Maranatha Church, Springfield Assembly, we've had multiple parents. The Board of Trustees, Springfield Board of Trustees has done it twice. And then for the final, this final home game, or I'm sorry, final game, Coach Tanksley puts in a thing that it's only for only for the boys and their moms. And then cheerleaders and their moms come, and it's very emotional. The senior moms come up and talk about their kids. It's very emotional. This year we have Fernando from Uncle Tito's, and Jeremy Caudell will be hosting that dinner. So I just want to take a moment and say thank you to all of them. It took a lot to bring everybody together, but everybody really stepped up, and I think that's huge. Gives you a lot of faith in what's going on, that we do have a lot of community support out there. So, thank you.
Thank you, Miranda, for bringing that
Yeah.
to the meeting,
And I'll get you that.
it's so important. It is just so important. The next, excuse me, it's recommended that the board approve the minutes of the regular meeting of September 19, 2023, and those minutes are available in Exhibit 1.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
It's been moved and second to approve the minutes. Mr. Adams?
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item 8, citizens' comments on agenda items. Citizens are welcome to comment on agenda items at this time. Are there any comments? Okay. Seeing none, then we will move to 9, which is payments of the monthly bills. It is recommended that the board approve payment of bills for the month of September pending audit, and again, these were available in Exhibit 2.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second that the board approve payment. Mr. Adams?
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer.
Yes.
Motion passed. Number 10, acceptance of the financial reports. It is recommended that the board accept the financial reports from the treasurer for September 2023, and those were Exhibits 3, 4, and 5.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second to accept the financial reports. Mr. Adams?
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Motion passed. Number 11 is personnel. It is recommended that the board accept and or approve the following personnel items. 11.1 is the resignation of classified employee Regina Goldinger from her cafeteria position only, and that would be effective October 22nd, 2023. 11.2, employment. Reassign classified employee Natasha Smith as an 8-hour custodian at Springfield High School and Junior High per the negotiated agreement, pending proper licensure, effective September 27th, 2023. Number 11.3, employment. Reassign classified employee Regina Goldinger as a 2-hour Monday through Thursday and 1.5-hour Friday midday PLCC and work-study bus driver per the negotiated agreement, effective October 2nd, 2023. 11.4, reassign classified employee Gina Gog as a 1.75-hour Monday through Thursday and 1.5-hour Friday midday preschool and CBI lunch bus driver per the negotiated agreement, effective September 21, 2023. Employment, 11.5, reassign the listed classified employees as 3-hour everyday reading teaching assistants at Spring Hill Elementary per the negotiated agreement, and that would be effective September 25, 2023, and those are Joanna Hanshaw and Angela Manier. 11.6, reassign classified employee Lisa Allgood as a 6.75-hour teaching assistant at Spring Hill Elementary per the negotiated agreement, September 5, 2023. 11.7, employment. Employ Alexis Johnson as a 3-hour educational assistant at Spring Hill Elementary per the negotiated agreement, pending proper licensure and pre-employment screenings, effective September 18, 2023. 11.8, employ Paul Ward as a 4-hour building custodian at the Springfield Administration and Preschool Center per the negotiated agreement, pending proper licensure and pre-employment screening, effective September 25. Employment. Employ Emily Kosh as a 100% intervention specialist teacher at Springfield High School and Junior High per the negotiated agreement, and the pending proper licensure and pre-employment screening, and that would be effective September 18, 2023. 11.10, volunteer non-sport advisors. Approve the following as volunteer non-sport advisors for the 2023-24 school year, pending proper licensure. Bethany Tuab, Pep Club. Tricia Rosmowski, Hiromino Light, Jennifer Rinaldo, Springfield Book Club, Lisa Brown, Springfield Book Club. 11.11, athletic supplemental contracts, and the following will be employed for the 2023 school year, pending proper licensure. Kyle Dack, varsity basketball head coach. For boys, Kevin Nash, junior varsity basketball coach, boys. Lucas Hahn, 7th and 8th grade basketball coach, boys. Jason Holmes, junior varsity basketball coach, girls. Joe Cole, 7th and 8th grade basketball coach, girls. and Corey Tanksley, the head varsity wrestling coach. Ed Suber, varsity wrestling assistant. Cody Logan, junior high wrestling head coach, and that's a split contract with Pat Ternosky, who also will be junior high wrestling head coach. Dana Floyd, varsity bowling head coach for boys, and Melinda Weekland, varsity bowling head coach for girls. A lot of help coming to Springfield in that reading.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the employment, the personnel items that I just read were, be approved. Mr.
Adams.
Mr. Adams?
It's all right, we call it worse. Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Abstain.
Ms. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer.
Yes.
Motion passed. We now have personnel motion 2. This is 12.1 volunteer coaches. Approving the following as volunteer coaches for the 23-24 school year: Jordan McLean, basketball coach; Paul Miller, basketball coach boys; Miranda Terry, basketball coach girls; Michael Keys, bowling coach boys; Jeremy Weekland, bowling coach girls; and Kyle Haddocks, wrestling coach. And again, these are volunteer coaches.
So moved.
Okay. Second.
It's been moved and second that the volunteer coaches I just read be approved. Mr. Adams?
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Ms. Terry.
Abstain.
Motion passed. Classified substitute rate. It is recommended that the board approve maintaining the classified substitute pay rate at 80% of step 0 of the position worked, with a minimum amount equal to the state of Ohio minimum wage established on January 1st each year.
Make a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and second.
So
What
this
does
is,
it say?
this is just to, instead of, because when they raise the minimum wage each year, to make sure that's just the 80%, that we don't have to keep coming back every year and saying, it's this amount because they changed it, or this amount that it's changed it. So it's just a formula to keep up with the substitute.
And is this substitute rate for teachers and classified, or
Just for our classified staff.
just for classified? Okay.
Yeah, we had found the minimum rate that we had previously specified was surpassed by state minimum wage, so we needed to keep up
I
with
just
that.
wanted to verbalize that for clarity. All right. I read it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer.
Yes.
Motion passed. Number 14, OPSI 179 Memorandum of Understanding. This is for teaching assistants. It is recommended that the board approve a memorandum of understanding with OPSI 179 regarding compensation for teaching assistants substituting for classroom teachers.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
This is in the cases where a teacher is absent and we cannot find or we cannot get a substitute, and there's teaching assistants in the classrooms, which are licensed through ODE, that they get paid as a certified substitute for those cases.
Mr. Adams?
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Motion passed. Number 15, OPSI 179, Collective Bargaining Agreement Extension. It is recommended that the board approve an agreement with OPSI 179 to extend the collective bargaining agreement effective July 1, 2017, until November 15, 2023. And that agreement was in Exhibit 7.
Oh, I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second.
Sorry. So this is for OPSI 179, and then number 16, OPSI 530. Their contracts ended July 30th of 2023, so we're waiting for, to negotiate with them. So they continue their extension until November 15th. And then we will negotiate with them after November 15th.
And this was at
Or
their
hopefully
request,
before November
right?
15th. What?
This was at their.
This was at their request.
Yes.
This was at their request.
Mr. Adams?
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Number 16, OPSI 530, Collective Bargaining Agreement Extension. It's recommended that the board approve an agreement with OPSI 530 to extend the collective bargaining agreement effective July 2017 until November 15, 2023.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second that we accept the agreement with OPSI 530. Mr. Adams?
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Abstain?
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola.
Yes. Motion passed. Number 17, transportation to other schools. It is recommended that the board approve a resolution declaring transportation to other schools impractical in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, Sections 3327.01 and 3327.02, and therefore will offer payment in lieu of transportation.
So moved.
Second.
Yes, this is, we did a whole bunch of them at the beginning of the year. This was just another one that was added. This is when they determined that transportation would cost us more and would be impractical or uneconomical. And then number 18 is for special, is a kind of like the same thing. It's special education, stating the same. Their payment is different than in lieu of. They get paid differently.
I think they get the mileage.
Okay, they get the mileage. So both of those are the same.
And this in lieu of, the payment goes to the parents.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Adams?
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Motion passed. Number 18, special education transportation. It is recommended that the board deem transportation to be unreasonable, uneconomical, and impractical under present conditions for the individual listed in Exhibit 6. And that was in Exhibit 10. I don't-
The reason that was changed is because we had it in two different areas. And
Oh,
the thing I
okay.
says, let's put them both together.
All right.
I made a motion.
Second.
Been moved and second that the board approve the item on special education transportation.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Okay, number 19. Excuse me. It is recommended that the board accept the following donations. 19.1, the All Sports Booster Club donated $24,180 to the Springfield Athletic Department. 19.2, Spartan Booster Club Incorporated donated $2,000 to fund a golf simulator from the Spartan Booster Club to the girls' golf team. 19.3, Pence Brothers Siding Incorporated, a donation of $5,500 from Pence Brothers Siding to Spring Hill Elementary School.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second that the donations as read be approved.
As always, donations are just a wonderful thing. And so, the 24,180 to the athletic department is something that will just help everything that they need. The $2,000 for the golf simulator, Mrs. Warner did find a room that was available at the high school, and there will be a golf simulator to help the kids swing. They told me I can come learn how to play golf so I can help with them. So I'm excited about that. And the Pence Brothers, last year they also donated this amount of money, and it was to help make sure that all kids are able to get what they, like when they have their popcorn days or their different activities, to make sure that all kids can participate in it. So, very thankful to the Pence Brothers for doing that for Spring Hill. So, this is always like one of the best parts of the board, so, of the meetings.
Mr. Adams?
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Motion passed, and huge gratitude extended to these people who, and clubs. That $24,180 represents hours and hours and hours of work on their part, and it's so appreciated.
It is. It's very-
Mr. Adams, Treasurer's Report?
Okay. There's two graphics I want to present tonight. The first one is we're really trying to bring home the point, and I've said it in my Treasurer's Finance Committee, and I'll continue it tonight, is the 23 years. And what's that actually mean? A levy cycle typically lasts 3 to 8 years. Some treasurers go 4 to 7 years. Some districts that have a lot of money go longer than that, but that's the typical. Being that it lasts 23 years, if you look in year 2000, okay, how much it cost? Educational funds collected, and then when our expenses started exceeding what we got, which was about 17 years ago, 16 years ago, and look at what happens. Every year, it gets more and more the difference. That chart goes up. The flat line down here is what we collect, okay? Educational opportunity, the dotted line. I wish I had my pointer to my office, I apologize. But what happens when the funds that we receive are less than our expenses? That means cuts. That means educational opportunities. That means curriculum. That means AP courses. That means opportunity for our kids. That's what happens. And I've said it over and over and over again. We can no longer wait. 23 years is a long time. I always go back to my preschool buddies. If we had to wait another 23 years, it'd be 27 years old without new money. I think that chart speaks for itself. Second one is we put together a list of all of our neighboring districts in Summit County, and even we reached out to some of our schools in Portage County about the millage rate, okay? And when was their last levy that was passed for new money? And as you can see, ours is in 2000, but everybody else has had a successful levy run for, let's go for the top. Stowe in 22, Woodridge in 20, Revere, Barberton, Cuyahoga Falls, Ladonia, Talmadge in 2019, all the way down to Manchester in 2011. Hudson obviously can go longer than we can because they're wealthier than we are. 2011. If we put ours on there, it'd be 2,000. I think we all know that. Now, the effective rate for schools, and we just discovered this, we were wondering why Norton, and Shelley was in our office, and I was not aware of this, but back in 2018, Norton residents approved an income tax, which is very rare. And they repealed a levy, 1.9 mils, is that correct?
I think it was 1.9.
1.9 mils. That's one of the reasons why they're less than us. Obviously, Revere, again, 33 mils on a $500,000 house is a lot more than 35 mils on a $150,000 house. So it speaks for itself. But I think the residents that see this understand that we say 23 years. What's that mean? It means nobody else is doing it. That's what it means. We're kind of out on an island by ourselves, a financial island that we don't need to be on. So I encourage everybody to go out and vote and think of the kids. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Central office, Mr. Boswell, do you want to start?
So this evening, I wanted to give you an update on Roosevelt, or the, as soon as my computer cooperates here, or the lot that used to be Roosevelt. The building has been completely removed from the site at this point. Crews are working on, didn't mean to go that fast, I'm sorry. Crews are working on final grading of the property and removal of some of the last bits of the parking lot. So project is scheduled to be completed by the end of this month, which I'll have a progress meeting tomorrow midday to see where we're at, but we've been right on schedule, so I don't anticipate any changes. This rainy weather that we've had the last few days may put us back a day or two, but nothing significant there. We've been moving right along on schedule there. So glad to see this project coming to a close, and we'll be, like I said, wrapped up right around the end of this month.
I think as a reminder, I think, Dustin, you need to, this couldn't have happened without all his hard work, and the cost was 25 cents on the dollar. We couldn't pass it up. We received a land bank grant, and I know personally, I've driven by there when it was being torn down and talked to residents, and they were tickled pink. And obviously, the next question is, what are we going to do with it? And we said, well, let's tear it down first, and we can think about that later. But it's such a huge difference in that neighborhood. It just opens it up. So.
Mr. Boswell.
Did you find the time capsule?
We have not. We had metal detectors out there. We did some excavating around the site where it was rumored to be, and have not been able to locate anything.
We even looked to see if the flagpole was moved at any point in time in the
Yeah,
history.
Went through historic pictures to see, because they said by the flagpole, so we'd hoped maybe there'd been a new flagpole erected in a different location that we could go back to, but as far back as, I think, probably pictures from the 40s, 50s, we found the flagpole in the same location there, so.
And if you would have seen the concrete that the flagpole was built in, it was not moving anywhere.
No.
When they knocked that down, I mean, it was just a massive amount of concrete, so.
Yes, sir.
I think it's good to
I know,
mention.
I've talked with some residents, and they watched it day by day. It was a thing for them. I said it was one of the promises that we had made to them when the 712 project came through. That was one of the deals. And it was nice that they're thrilled that was now done and taken down. So they're happy. Now, as you say, what are you going to do with it? I said, well, we'll have to discover that. I said, I like green space. Oh, so we'll have to see. Thank you.
Mary?
From the Office of Academics, the biggest thing we have coming up is we have third grade OST testing, or Ohio State testing. That's coming up in the next week and a half-ish, in order for third graders to show their proficiency at level.
But we have coming up in preschool, so one of the requirements of licensure and Step Up to Quality is that we have family involvement into the preschool setting. So we use these upcoming holidays as our opportunity to involve the families in their child's preschool experience. So we have Halloween coming up. I believe there's going to be a contest amongst the central office staff to hype the preschoolers up and make it feel very festive. And then in November, we have the Family Foods Feast, so the kids bring in their favorite food and we share it amongst the preschool staff or the students. And then in December, we'll do our Winter Fest and invite them in. So it's going to be an exciting next 3 months in preschool.
When are we doing the Halloween?
Next Thursday.
So if you want to come in and see who wins.
It's got a little competitive.
A little, like very secret of what we're doing into each of our rooms, so it's, yeah. Yeah, every day they come in and say, look what I bought, okay. First, I just gotta say, I cannot believe it's the middle of October already. I don't know where the school year's going. The end of the first quarter, is this Friday, so amazing. The month of October has been really busy. We've had quite a few community events for Halloween, a lot of different trunk and treats, car shows, and, we've been at all the events. Great turnouts, great community turnouts, so we're really excited. Our own National Honor Society is putting on their own trunk or treat. This is going to be Sunday, October 22nd. It's going to be from 12:30 to 2:30, and it's going to be in the parking lot by the field house. So thanks to the National Honor Society for doing this, and we hope that we get a lot of kids coming. The amount of candy that these kids must be getting is going to be driving their parents crazy. Because I know this last one we were just at on Friday for the spring, I mean, they had buckets full of candy, and if they came really late, they even got more candy because people were just throwing it all in there, so.
And you don't think the parents are helping them eat it?
Oh, I'm sure the parents are very much helping them eat it, because they need to help them eat it to stay up to watch the kids.
I remember my house.
It was, yeah, because, we gave out, the district gave out Smarties, and the parents were like, oh, Smarties, and you could just see them snatching those babies up. So we're excited about this. Tomorrow, Wednesday, October 18th at 6 p.m., a photo shoot at 5:30. The Springfield Township trustees will finally announce the opening of the Spartan Trail that's located right in the south parking lot, staff. I drove by it today. It's got a nice little concrete going through. This is, first of all, we're very proud to be a part, bringing Springfield, Lakemore, and the school district together to get something like this done. But it's also going to be, until we can bring back busing, a safety way for our kids to walk, because now they can cut through the trail instead of walking all the way down Sanitarium and coming up through the school. So we're hoping that this might be a little bit of a safety for the kids, but it looks really neat. And if you're interested, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, it's going to be the official opening of it. This Saturday, the 21st, is the 86th annual Turkey Fest. Last year was my first time attending it, and it was a blast. I don't know, when they said Turkey Fest, I didn't know what to expect. And when the lights went down and the kids came out, I mean, it was awesome. And you've got both sides of the gym filled, and people just going crazy. I mean, it is really a great time. If any board member would like to go, please let me know, because they do have tickets, because I think it is like a sold out venture. So I just talked with Ashley today, and she's trying to figure out how that works, so let me know. I'm so forward looking to it's going to be great. On October 5th, Summit County held their annual Educator Celebration. This year, our nominees were Elena Jackson for Rookie of the Year, Heather Phillips Teacher of the Year, and Cynthia Frola as our Lifetime Achievement Award. So they are now part of the Summit County All-Star Team, so congratulations to them. It was a good, Mrs. Warner was there, it was a good celebration. A reminder, Election Day, November 7th, we do have school, so make sure you send your kids to school that day, and reminder teachers, we do have school that day. Next month, we're going to recognize our fall sports for our accomplishments, but I did want to mention, I'd like to congratulate Brady Hahn, family that was here, that left. He made it to states for golf. He came 27 out of 72, which is amazing. And our boys, this was our second year MAC championship, and Jack Morgan was the coach of the year. So we will be recognizing them in the girls' golf and cross-country and everything else that we have next board meeting. So we're excited for that. Also, another thing, the Spartan Snack Pack, we're having Stuff the Bus on Saturday, October 21st at the Dollar General across the street from the high school. If you're interested in what kind of items that we need, if you go to the Spartan Snack Pack Facebook page, it has a list of items that they would need. Right now, we are providing snack packs for 125 students. So that's up from last year, and this really does mean a lot to the families who receive them, and, you know, we're just glad that we can help with that. That's all I have. That's it. It's
We've
been a busy month, yes.
I don't know how you got
Yes. Tomorrow,
this whole month in that little list.
in that little list, yes. And then tomorrow, I will be down in Akron at night, and I will be helping to judge the safety poster contest with the prosecutors. So I will be there tomorrow night doing that. So we're shaking and moving
Thank you.
shaking. So good things.
Okay, items worthy of your note. On October 19th, Schropp Intermediate Conferences are from 3:30 to 7:30. October 20th, as she just said, the end of the first quarter. October 21st, the Turkey Fest, and she's right, it's an amazing,
And 86 annuals. So it's been going on for 86
Since
years.
1937.
I think I've been to every one of them.
That is amazing that it's I'm sure you have. I had to do some math in my head right there. I don't think so, but okay.
But even every year, it was, fun again. October 26th, Schropp Intermediate Conferences from 3:30 to 7:30. November 2nd, Spring Hill Elementary Conferences, 3:30 to 7:30. November 9, Spring Hill Elementary Conferences, 3:30 to 7:30. And the next board meeting will be November 21st at this location beginning at 6 o'clock. Then, November 23rd and 24th are Thanksgiving break, and on the 27th, there is no school because that's a conference comp day.
And to think that our next board meeting is the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh, jeez. Are you serving turkey?
Okay, yes, I will. It is just,
Yeah.
it's just flying by. It's just
All right,
amazing.
The next, are there any citizens' comments on non-agenda items? Anything that you would like to speak about? We have a 5-minute limit on. Anyone have any comments or questions? Well, comments. All right, if not, thank you very much for your patience tonight. I know that we had a pretty fun-filled evening with all the items, but thank you, you've been very patient. At this time, it's recommended that the meeting be adjourned.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded that the meeting be adjourned. Mr. Adams?
Mr. Petrie?
Yes?
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes?
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned. I don't want to hit that. I want to see, I want to ask. What it is.